Uhuru, Uhuru, and welcome. Welcome to the Reparations in Action White Lies Shattered series live webinar, part of the spring member drive for Black Power 96.3 WBPU LP St. Petersburg. Please like this live stream and share it widely. My name is Jamie Simpson, and I am the host of Reparations in Action. Reparations in Action is a program of white solidarity with Black power. I want to say welcome to everyone tuning in to this special live episode of the White Lies Shattered series. We are coming to you today live on Facebook, YouTube, and simultaneously broadcasting live on Black Power 96.3 WBPU LP St. Petersburg as part of the spring member drive of Black Power 96 FM. And we are deeply honored to be here today in profound solidarity with Black Power 96, a Black community radio station whose motto is not just explaining the world, but changing it. Reparations in Action, the White Lies Shattered series, is a program of white solidarity with Black power. And we believe, as this live episode is called, that reparations is the key question of our time and is one that demands action on the part of white or European people. So this is a fund drive episode of Reparations in Action. And we are asking people, if you're listening out there, if you're watching on the internet, please go to blackpower96.org/donate and contribute generously to Black Power 96 Radio. We have a goal of raising $500 today towards Black Power 96. And we'd really like to exceed that today. And before we introduce and welcome on our featured guests today, who we're very excited about, I'd like to first introduce my co-hosts, Penny Hess, Chairwoman, Chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee.
Uhuru, and it was so exciting to be on Black Power 96 today. I'm very excited for this telethon, and we're going to go way beyond the $500. Uhuru.
Yes, we are, Chairwoman. Yes, we are. And I also want to welcome Jesse Neville, the chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. Uhuru, Jesse.
Uhuru, Jamie. Uhuru, Chairwoman Penny. Uhuru, everybody who's tuning in. I'm really excited to be here, and I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's joining us on Facebook, including people who are commenting in the chat right now. John Hill Jr. from New York, Carlen Graves Lewis, Rashada Parks, Judy Talagon, Johan Bedingfield, and everybody else who's tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We're really excited to be here supporting Black Power 96.3. Uhuru.
Wow, that's fantastic, everyone. Keep up the chat. Keep going to blackpower96.org/donate and help us get way past that goal today. You know, Chairwoman Penny, I wanted to ask you if you could give us an overview at the top of the show here and talk to us about why you think reparations is the key question of our time.
Uhuru. Well, thank you, Jamie. And just want to salute Jesse also. And of course, I always have to begin by saluting Chairman Omali Yeshitela, the leader of the African nation, who developed the worldview called African internationalism that makes sense of the world, that turns the world right side up, and also gives us the reality of the world as it truly is, not as we want it to be, and then demands that we do something about it under the leadership of the African working class. So Chairman Omali Yeshitela has taught me everything I know. I want to salute, of course, Deputy Chair Onizane Yeshitela, the brilliant leader of the Black Power Blueprint, among so many other things in the party. I want to salute the brilliant Director Akile Anayi, the leader of Agitprop, and all of the Burning Spear, the radio station, etc., and the dynamic, very electrifying DJ Eddie. Such an honor to have both of you on today. And of course, this great radio station, Black Power 96.3 FM. And I really want to call on everybody to give everything that you can. I am going to give $50 today. And that's just the start. We have to, we're here as part of the white population. And that's why we're talking about reparations and what the chairman calls the colonial mode of production. That really leads us, it really a scientific understanding of the world that enables us to see that the enslavement of African people, the genocide of the indigenous people, the assault on Africa, the turning of African human beings into commodities and human trafficking and everything that is a part of the violence, the plunder, the rape, the pillage. That is what this system is. That is the DNA of the social system that we live in. It's colonial capitalism. It couldn't be any other way. There couldn't be a benign capitalist system. This is its essence. And I think that is becoming more and more clear every day. And it's becoming more clear because of the tireless, relentless work that Chairman Omali Yeshitela has led and just relentlessly put it out and fought for it in theory and practice for over 50 years now. And we're beginning to see that everything in the world, this question is bubbling up. It can't be covered over. It can't be denied because a few statues were taken down. The colonial reality, the land that is called the United States of America is soaked in the blood of African indigenous people, and that's always there. And just to say very quickly that there is what's called here in St. Louis, the Del Mar Divide. There is the African community where, and right across one street, Del Mar Avenue, are white people living in mansions and gated communities versus just, extreme poverty a block or so away, and where white people have 10 times, if not way more, the amount of wealth and assets that the African community has. And where in this city of St. Louis, where the city has had a policy to starve the African community, to let it rot is what it's called, and be able, and you see that, and that's why the Black Power Blueprint, the programs for political and economic power in the hands of the African community are so significant here under the leadership of Black Star Industries and the African People's Socialist Party are transforming, building, community gardens, farmers markets, relationship with African farmers and the African community, and women's health center, African Women's Health Center, African basketball court that's being built, and so much more. So it's very powerful to see, not only to talk about reparations in theory, but to see it work, laid on the ground in practice, and what it means to return the stolen resources into the hands of the African working class. Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Uhuru. Thank you so much for that fantastic overview, Chairwoman Penny. I really unite with that and really appreciate you being on the program today. We want to move now to one of our featured guests, and we are absolutely honored to have both of these guests on today. We want to welcome, first of all, someone who is I want to announce that we have two incredible people. That's Director Akile Anai of the Department of Agitation and Propaganda for the African People's Socialist Party. And we have station manager here at Black Power 96, DJ Eddie Maltzby. I want to begin by bringing on Director Akile of the Department of Agitprop for the African People's Socialist Party and a former candidate for City Council in St. Petersburg. Uhuru, and welcome Director Akile Anai.
Uhuru, Comrade Jamie, Jesse, Chairwoman Penny, and to the whole Reparations in Action crew. Uhuru.
Uhuru, comrade, it's such an honor to have you with us today. Thank you so much. I wanted to begin by asking you, you ran for City Council on a platform of reparations. And I just wanted you to talk a bit about that demand and what you think the significance of that position of calling for, of being the first candidate in the world in an electoral campaign calling for reparations, what you think the significance of that is, especially as an African person demanding reparations.
Uhuru, Jamie. Yes. Well, I also want to just acknowledge my leadership, Chairman Amalia Shatella, and recognize that that political campaign was one that was waged by the African People's Socialist Party. And it was a really profound campaign that really upholds the position that the chairman has put forward, and it's really advanced in terms of the question of the ballot and the bullet. Which we've historically known as the ballot or the bullet. And in this particular instance, it was, a revolutionary party taking the electoral arena, which is usually blocked off and is a nonviolent contest between sectors of the white ruling class and dominated also by the African petty bourgeoisie. So a platform, an arena that has never really been made available, accessible, or useful for the African working class. And it's a revolutionary party taking control of that arena and inserting the demands, the leadership of the African working class into this area. And, that in and of itself was really powerful because it allowed for us to break ground and build a social movement and win African people to, their own interests, in a very really simple way to say, we want reparations to African people, genuine economic development, a policy of economic development versus that of police containment, an end to gentrification. And we were able to put forward these demands and also paint a vision for, a future that is accessible, that is actually possible. And what it does too is it exposes the nature of the colonial capitalist system because they are totally incapable of meeting these very basic demands of the African working class, democratic demands coming from the African community. They're incapable of actually responding to that because of what it does for them, the contradiction that it creates for them. And that's exactly what the reparations demand did. It created this contradiction for them because reparations is something that they would never talk about. They're in the electoral arena. They wouldn't even have had to address it if it wasn't for the presence of the African People's Socialist Party and the leadership coming from the African working class. So it's not even something they've ever had to really deal with. And so we forced them to speak to this question. And it's important to say too, that St. Pete is a lily white, city, majority white population. And it was a bold, audacious campaign to say reparations to the African community for XYZ, for the atrocities, for these instances right here and there, and for the continued assault on the African population, which is something that could not be denied. It was an objective reality. The conditions, Penny mentioned the Del Mar divide in St. Louis, it's the tale of two saints because St. Pete's got the same situation. And it's something that we experience all throughout this country and around the world, and just in terms of the two Americas. So you have this objective reality being put forth in front of everybody, something you could not deny. And you had to watch the ruling class, do everything they could to undermine this campaign. And reparations, which was considered lunatic French politic when we were putting it forward, is now something that they've had to debate. You've heard people like Biden, Sanders, Obama, these forces who initially came out against reparations, having to deal with this question. And that's partly what it did, but it also gave permission to people to come out of the closet in support of the African community for reparations to African people. So it's had this incredible ripple effect. And of course, the party has been the leadership around this reparations demand for over 40 years, really. So it was really, really powerful. And it's something now that if you're not talking about reparations, as it's stated here, one of the most pressing questions of our time, if you're not dealing with that questions of reparations, you're already illegitimate, in the whole discussion. So,
Uhuru, Director Akile, thank you for that response. And I wanted to ask you also about what you think the significance is of this radio station that we have a fund drive episode for today, and is currently in its fund drive, Black Power 96 Radio. In particular, could you sum up the significance of the slogan, not just explaining the world, but changing it?
Absolutely. One, to have a platform that functions as a tool of dual and contending power. So giving the African working class the ability to contend in the war of ideas, to negate the influence of the colonial capitalists by way of, being the only dominating worldview and ideology that African people have access to. Now we've inserted African internationalism by way of Black Power 96, among other institutions, that the Uhuru movement has at our, in our immediate access. So really important platform that gives voice to not just the African community here in St. Petersburg, Florida, but to the whole African nation. And that's critical. And the radio work is not something that we just started, although we are turning 5 years old, BP96 is specifically, but the Uhuru movement, has recognized the significance of this type of platform and being able to insert, revolutionary ideology through the airwaves, through Uhuru radio and other means. And in other revolutions past, you'll see the use of radio stations as well and how critical it was to organize, masses of people. So this radio station with the slogan, not just explaining the world, but changing it. And that means something because it says that it's a radio station about action as much as it is about the theory, as much as it is about the information that is being put forth. It's also calling on us to do something about it. So not just to sit around and go, wow, these things are wrong in the world, but to have a plan, to have a way forward, to project a vision of the future from the position of the African working class. That, is what this radio station is in the business of. So it's not just a, real cool station that has cool Black music and, real cool ideas, but it's has a specific mission to contend, to, call people to action, to organize. And when you look at not just explaining the world, but changing it, the slogan that comes to mind is unity of theory and practice. And that's what this radio station and that slogan represents. And it's what people see when they come into contact with BP96. So they know that this radio station is different. It is distinguished from anything else that's out there today. Nobody can say that they're doing the same thing that Black Power 96 is doing. No way. So.
Wow. Uhuru, really want to salute that response. Director Akile Anayi of the Department of Agitation and Propaganda for the African People's Socialist Party. Thank you for being here. I want to welcome now also a very familiar voice, the station manager here at Black Power 96 and the host of Good Morning Gospel and Midday Cafe, to name just a few. Black Power 96 DJ Eddie Maltzby Jr. Uhuru, and welcome.
Uhuru, Jamie, Uhuru, Jesse, and Penny Heskett. Afternoon.
Uhuru.
Afternoon.
It's such an honor to have you on here, Eddie. You're from St. Petersburg, right? And I just wanted to start off by asking you if you could talk a bit to us about how you met Chairman Omali Yeshitela and Black Power 96 and how you got to be here.
Well, again, I've said it many times. I used to be about 11 years old when I lost my sight. I was 11 years old and I was stricken to be home a lot. So radio was the first place I heard. Joe Walla was his name at that time. And I heard him on radio and he was talking about this and he was talking about that. And I was like, what is this man talking about? Because I had no idea at 11 years old what he was talking about. I had no clue. So my mom was listening to it. And I was like, Mom, what are you listening to? Let's listen to Aretha Franklin. Let's listen to some Michael Jackson or something. What you listen to? And she says, oh, well, I like this guy. And went on. Long story short, that's how I met him first on radio. And then singing downtown for 35 years, it was time for me to do something else. So I heard about this station called Black Power 96.3. And so in my heart of hearts, I've always wanted to be maybe a DJ. So I said, it's time for me to stop singing on the streets. Let me see, I can go over here and maybe they'll let me play some music. And so far, I came in and they said, oh, what do you want to do? I said, I want to play music. What kind of music you want to play? Well, I want to start out with gospel and maybe I can play some R&B. And that's pretty much how I met Omali, first listening to the radio. And throughout the years, you would hear stories about Joe Walla, such as tearing down the mirror and other things he was doing throughout the community. So I came to the radio station. Like I said, wanted to play gospel, and I played gospel, and it was just getting off the ground then. And I knew it because I was trying to build a fan base. And so I would do is go to the bank and withdraw some money and say, the first 5 callers or first couple of callers that calls me, I'm going to give $50. Well, the phone didn't ring. So I knew that it wasn't many listeners, because one time I said somebody called, and one of my friends called, and they're like, I'm not giving you money because you're my friend. And I didn't want to give them money. I wanted to give them money to strangers. I wanted to, invite and make some new listeners. And sure enough, after time, it started growing and growing and growing, and it just became a wonderful thing. The chairman, I never forget. I celebrated a birthday, I believe my first birthday here, and the chairman came and they celebrated the birthday with me, and he said, "Man, to be honest with you, I wasn't too sure if you were going to be a DJ or what you were going to do. Were you going to tear up the equipment? You're blind and you couldn't see," but they gave me a chance, and I'm so grateful that they gave me a chance to be a DJ. And I went from being a DJ, and a couple of years later, assistant manager, and a year and a half after that, manager. I can't explain to you the enormous power that Black Power does have in our community. I watched it grow myself without eyes. I watched it grow internally, to see these people amazingly now come and give, come and donate. I cannot say I'm giving away a ticket, because the phone will light up and ring off the hook. We've come a long way. And again, this is something that the chairman, want to salute the chairman, Omalia Satella, and DC owner. I believe she believed in me first. And after I had a meeting with Deputy Chair Ona Zane, it was just the vision that she had for a radio station. It just blew me away, and I wanted to carry out that mission. And I vowed that day that I would not let her down or the chairman down, and let's make this one of the best radio stations in the nation. And Director Keeley, she hit on it. It is definitely not just a station where we play music, Aretha Franklin and Michael Jackson. It's a station that we do have to get out. The message has to get out about the idea, changing, not just explaining, but changing the world. And the way we do that is to connect with the African community, is to connect with Black people, no matter where they are. We have to connect with them to let them know the truth about how we've been treated, the truth that they don't get in our schools, the truth that they don't see in our streets. They don't see what's really going on because we haven't learned. African people, Black people as a whole, we was told and taught the wrong things. We were not taught who is holding us hostage. We was not taught how did we come to be here in America. You go to the schools and they teach you about George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, some Benjamin Franklin, somebody who flew a kite. Who gives a damn? I don't. But what we should have been talking about is how America has colonized African people, how America has just put their foot on our face and killed us, hung us from trees. These things need to be talked about in history, inside schools, inside colleges, inside churches, inside everywhere, because if we get that message out, then we can realize what has happened to us. How can you go somewhere when you don't know where you've been? So I want to salute the chairman, and this is the power of Black Power. We want to change the narrative. We want to make sure that people understand what has happened. And I want to salute you guys, white people coming together under the African People's Socialist Party. You have to do it also. It's your responsibility to overturn, to change the world. It is on you also, Jamie, Jesse, Penny.
Uhuru, DJ Eddie, thank you so much for that. I unite. And just quickly, let me say, if you're listening and you want to help us reach our goal to keep Black Power 96 radio on the air, the Black community having its own radio station, the African working class having its own independent community controlled media capacity, you can go to blackpower96.org/donate. That's blackpower96 reparations.org/donate. Contribute generously to our $500 goal, and note in the comments that it's for Reparations in Action that you were listening to when you did that. DJ Eddie, I wanted to ask you next if you could just speak to what you think is the significance of this Black community radio station, Black Power 96, having Reparations in Action, a program of white people speaking in support of the question of reparations. What do you think is significant about that?
Well, I think the significance of that is you're actually reaching out to other white people. And I just said it to you just a few minutes ago. You guys have to, white people, the colonizers, they have to overturn. They have to be, it's a change going to come. How can we change it? If you guys are not going to change your ideas and your thoughts and the way you've treated African people, the way you've treated Black people in the past, you have to change. The significance of having white people on the radio is to get other white people to join the party, to come with us, not be against us. That has to be overturned. Enough is enough, and we know this, and we see this what's happening in our own country with Washington D.C. as itself. And in last January, when they went and attacked the White House, this is social. The social ramifications are here now. We have to overturn, and Reparations does not only a wonderful job of broadcasting weekly about Black people and what you're doing, but you're coming together, and more white people have to come in solidarity with the African People's Socialist Party, because that's the only way we're going to make white people change, is to broadcast it out loudly on radio, on TV, everywhere, paper, newspaper, the burning spear. White people, put them on paper, put you on glass. We have to make sure that people realize that you have to come together, because if you're not going to come with us, we're going to run over you. And that's just all it is to it. So you either going to come with and join the African People's Socialist Party and be a part of this movement, be a part of this chain, or we're going to have to do what we have to do. And the chairman has said it many times, and all means necessary. All means necessary. We're going to carry out the mission of the African People's Socialist Party with white people or against white people. No matter how it goes, it's going to come to pass. We see that happening every day, even with Russia, even with what's going on in Ukraine. The motor production is here. It's ready. We're cranking up the trucks, and we're cranking up every engine that we have to crank up, because it's time is now for reparations people to come together. White people, time to come together and be united with the African People's Socialist Party, because if you don't, I feel sorry for you. The mission is here, and the mission is on.
Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Uhuru. So much unity with what you're saying. Very, very inspiring. And I really, want to join in calling on all the other white people who are out there, get on board. This is what the chairman calls the forward side of history. We want to break our ties with being the colonizers, the perpetrator of violence, the bombers, the killers, the lynchers. We want to take responsibility for that history, and that's what paying reparations is. It's a self-criticism, like the chairman says, to African people, and to be organized under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party is the best thing that can happen, because that is bringing about a world without war, without violence, without competition for everything, just a world in which all people can live, no one at the expense of anybody else. So thank you for your words. And Director Akile, very, very inspiring. Uhuru.
Jamie?
Uhuru.
I also wanted the people to know at Black Power 96.3 FM radio station, another way that they can donate. A lot of people, or young people especially, are using Cash App, and they can go to $ Black Power 96. That's our Cash App, is $
Great.
Power 96.
Great.
Okay, that's
Thank
$
Thank you,
Power
DJ
96.
Black Power 96. Thank you so much, station manager DJ Eddie Maltzby. Thank you so much, Director Akile Anayi of the Department of Agitprop for the African People's Socialist Party. Such an honor to have you both on today.
Yes.
Uhuru, thank you.
Uhuru, Jamie, and Chairwoman Penny, I just want to salute that amazing interview. And we're at the halfway point, so I would hope that we're at least halfway towards our goal of raising $500. And so far, we have Lisa putting in $100. Lisa from Minneapolis, so we just want to shout out Comrade Lisa, Uhuru.
Exciting.
We had Chairwoman Penny mentioning earlier $50. Uhuru, Chairwoman Penny.
Uhuru.
Sarah from St. Petersburg, $50. Uhuru, Sarah.
Uhuru.
And our very own Len Demmer here in St. Louis, putting in $10. Uhuru, Len.
Len.
Uhuru, Len.
Awesome.
And that brings us to 210. So I want us to get past the halfway point here. So I'm going to match Chairwoman Penny at $50. I'll put in 50 as well. That brings us up to $260 raised, 240 left to go. So let's bring it in. Go to Black Power 96. I'm sorry. Wait, let me see here. Black Power 96.
.org.
Thank you.
Yes. Slash.
I'm like, am I missing something? FM? No. Black Power 96. .org, or go to Cash App. That's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to Cash App it.
Okay.
$ Black Power 96. All you got to do
Right.
is you can send in your resources as reparations to this incredible African working class radio station.
Right. And if you want to go to that URL, just to clarify, is blackpower96.org/donate. That's how you
Thank
get
you.
directly to that. Yeah, absolutely. And please contribute whatever you can, and you can put in the comment sections that it's for Reparations in Action. Was that Sarah with an H or without an H from St. Pete?
With an H.
With an H.
With an H. Uhuru, Sarah. All right.
I think that's somebody we know very closely. We know and love. All right.
That's fantastic, comrade. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who's contributed so far. And I just wanted to say quickly that we do have some fantastic give backs today. If I can get to those in just a second here. Let's see. We have for anyone who gives, let's see, we have some tote bags. Can one of you help me remember what the amount is? I haven't gotten, here we go. For anyone who contributes $50 or more today. So I think we have one person already who could claim this. Sarah, if you want, right? The $50 for an Uhuru Planet tote bag. We also have.
I could probably bring some over here. Not sure where they are, but yes, go ahead.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, let's see. The station will be sending.
There it is. Okay,
Yeah.
Great.
Excellent. Yeah, so that's for $50. The station will be sending a special thank you, an enamel pin with the Black Power 96 logo and the slogan to donors who have supported since the beginning. Donate any amount today. Black Power 96 logo static clings. They hold firmly to any glass surface without using adhesive. Put it on a window in your car or home. If you become a sustaining member today, which that's so important to become a sustaining member that have ongoing amounts coming into this Black community radio station, $10 or more sustaining member, you get a copy of the book by the distinguished Chairwoman Penny Hess right here, Overturning the Culture of Violence. This is an Uhuru movement piece of literature that's just a classic. It's really required reading. It includes a foreword by Chairman Omalia Shatella. And we also have, if you can give $200 today or more. Jesse, I believe you're wearing an interesting item today. Oh, that's right.
Nice. All right.
I don't know if you can see the back there.
Yes, Reparations in Action, an anti-colonial podcast.
That's right.
Very
White
cool
lies
shirt.
shattered on the front.
Powerful.
Reparations in Action on the back. It's the shirt with the logo of this very radio show and podcast.
Uhuru, Jamie.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut in, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Sarah Z in St. Pete. Apologies to Sarah H, although we know she is an amazing supporter, Sarah with an H, but that was actually Sarah with no H, last name starting with Z. So shout out to Comrade Sarah.
Oh, the one that put in $50?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And just to clarify, her name is actually pronounced Sada. So thank you, Sada.
Okay, there we go.
That's
Sada.
Fantastic, Sada. We really salute you and your stance.
Wow.
That's tremendous.
That's great.
Be like Sada. Contribute $50 or more to this program today, whatever you're able to do. at blackpower96.org/donate, or you can go to the Cash App $BlackPower96 and claim one of these incredible give backs. You know, Chair Jesse, chair of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, it's so great to have you part of this fund drive today. I wanted to see if you wanted to just talk briefly about the topic of this show, which is reparations, the key question of our times. I believe you had an announcement you wanted to make regarding reparations and how people can take action around it.
Uhuru, absolutely, Jamie. Well, I just want to say I'm so honored and appreciative of the opportunity to be a part of Reparations in Action. Just really salute Chairwoman Penny and you, Jamie, and to have a podcast and radio show on Black Power 96 is an amazing honor. And especially in this period when I feel like everybody is just so sick and tired of the endless bombardment of lies and imperialist propaganda that we're subject to every single day from the ruling class media. Black Power 96 is an absolute breath of revolutionary fresh air.
Absolutely.
So everyone has to go ahead and become a sustainer. This is a stand of reparations when you do this. It's reparations and truth wrapped up in one. So I just encourage people to go ahead and do that. And did we want to show that or play that PSA now? Are we doing that? Okay.
Let's do it.
So what Jamie was referencing is that the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, the organization of white people under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, is gearing up for our annual national convention. And we have a PSA that we're going to play. Shout out to our media coordinator, Diane Tournay, for putting this together. And this will give you some details about the upcoming national convention.
The Uhuru Solidarity Movement National Convention, titled Unity Through Reparations, Reparations Through Organization, will be held virtually on March 18th through 20th, 2022. Uhuru Solidarity is the organization of white people working under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party to organize white people into the Black-led movement for reparations. Speakers will include African People's Socialist Party Chairman Omali Yeshitela, Chairwoman Penny Hess of the African People's Solidarity Committee, and African People's Socialist Party Deputy Chair Ona Zane Yeshitela. The convention will kick off with a bold political action, the Rally for Reparations, at the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri. The rally will take place on Friday, March 18th at 12 p.m. at the base of the arch, a monument symbolizing the colonial genocide of the indigenous people, built through the demolition of an African community. Register for the online convention at uhursolidarity.org/register. Register for the rally at the Arch at reparationsrally.eventbrite.com. For more information, email info@uhurusolidarity.org or call 727-888-3797.
Wow. That was fantastic. Uhuru. I want to salute Diane Tournay, Uhuru Solidarity Movement member out in Gainesville, who is the voice of that video. It's
definitely.
That was so good. That was fantastic. Yeah. Salutes to Comrade Diane for that.
Yeah, it's going to be such an amazing convention. So again, if people want to be a part of that, you can go to uhurusolidarity.org/register. And that's just going to be, I think, a life-changing event.
And, you know, Jamie, I think that people out there are really inspired by what they're hearing today with Director Akile and Station Manager Eddie Maltzby, DJ Eddie Maltzby, that we just had on a few minutes ago, because we have Allison in Gulfport who went ahead and became a $10 a month sustainer, which is $120 towards the year in reparations to the Black Power 96 radio station. Uhuru, Allison.
Uhuru.
Gulfport. Love it.
You know what? I think that's our new comrade who actually goes by Ali, if I'm not mistaken.
Ali, all right.
So
All
Uhuru,
right.
Ali, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so inspired by all the people who are moved by this period of history and want to see a different future, want to see a different world, who recognize, you know, what you've been saying since I met this movement, Chairwoman Penny, that there's no future in this system, that if we want to see a future, we have to unite with reparations and liberation for African people. And that's exactly what Black Power 96 represents. So like what people like Ali and Sada are doing is taking a stance of reparations. They are demonstrating reparations in action today. And I just want to encourage anyone else who is listening to take that tremendous stand in solidarity with African people and with all humanity. If you donate $50 or more today, you can be like Sada, who's going to get one of these incredible tote bags that says St. Petersburg, Florida. Oh, you know what? I'm not able to read the writing. I don't want to misread it. Jesse, can you quote for me what this tote bag says?
St. Petersburg, Florida, the first act of Black Power. And it has a photo of that act, which is Chairman Omali Yeshitela heroically tearing down the white nationalist mural back in 1966 that used to hang in City Hall. So that's a great image to display on your tote bag. And I actually have it on a sweatshirt that I love wearing. So it's a great give back for anybody that wants to support Black Power 96 today.
Yeah, and I guess Sada would be getting the T-shirt.
You
right?
mean right? No, I think the T-shirt was for 200 or more. That's yeah. So the T-shirts.
All right.
Close. Yeah, and if you want that T-shirt and you want to contribute $200, that would be fantastic. It is a wonderful way to represent.
Ali gets the Overturning the Culture of Violence book.
Right on, Ali. You're gonna enjoy that book.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I had this a little mixed up, but yes, this is good. I really appreciate everybody who's giving today. We only have $95 left.
Wow.
That is nothing. And I know that there are people on the line, and I'm really calling on you. I mean, there's nothing better that we could be giving to than Black Power 96 radio station, which is just what we saw, just what it represents through the words of DJ Eddie and through director and the state and the overall coordinator of Black Power 96, director Akile Anai, and just how brilliant this is. There is nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. And it's not just a matter of the incredible music that's on it, but it is a call to action. It is what DJ Eddie said. It's Director Akile, that it's not just explaining the world, it's changing the world. And it's about organizing for the revolution, the African revolution, the liberation of all African people wherever they have been forcibly dispersed around the world, and through the liberation of Africa, just throwing out all of the colonizers and just the 600-year legacy of colonial assault, and that still goes on today. And to be able to return these resources into the hands of African people. And Chairman Omali always says, it's not just changing the world. That Africa isn't poor, it's being looted. And I was just thinking, because I see Sada is back on giving $100.
Wow. Incredible. That's incredible. That's
very
phenomenal.
exciting. Very exciting.
Very, very moving. And we
keep it going.
Yeah, we salute these comrades for their stand and encourage everyone listening to take a similar stand. Be like Sada, be like Ali, be like Lisa, like Chairwoman Penny, like Chair Jesse. And I just want to recognize some of the forces who are sustaining members of Black Power 96 that are also members and supporters of the solidarity movement, of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement and African People's Solidarity Committee, like Allison in Philadelphia, Allie in Oakland, Renee in Philadelphia, Lisa in Minneapolis, Leah in Minneapolis, myself, Jamie here in St. Petersburg, John in Illinois, Sandra in Seattle, Deidre in San Diego, Stephanie in Oakland, Diane in Gainesville, KC in St. Louis, Jesse, I believe it says in St. Pete, but I'm pretty sure that's in St. Louis now, and Anne in St. Pete. Be like these comrades. Become a sustaining member of Black Power 96 at blackpower96.org/donate.
Wow, this is fantastic. Really want to also join in thanking Sarah and Ali and Len and Lisa and Jesse and you, Jamie. And I know there's a lot more people can continue to give at blackpower96.org/donate anytime. This is a telethon that's going on for at least another week, I'm pretty sure. And, it's just really important because Black Power 96 does not get resources from corporations or anything. This is dedicated, biased on the side of the African working class, the point of view of the oppressed and colonized African community that you don't hear anywhere else, not anywhere else. And it is reflecting the point of view of the African working class that's organized, fighting with African people everywhere, from the streets of Johannesburg and Gauteng province in South Africa to Ghana and Kenya and Nigeria and Jamaica and London and France and just all around the world, African people, and just incredible unity fighting for their liberation, which is going to bring about a whole new world. And they are winning. They are winning. So you're joining the winning side when you're donating to this.
That's right. And when you donate, you're also saying that you appreciate this show, that Reparations in Action, and the need for, as DJ Eddie said, for white people to take responsibility. That, it's on us. This task of changing the world, we have a responsibility in it. And I love what DJ Eddie said, that the African Revolution is going to do it with or without white people. But it makes sense. It's strategic to extend that struggle into the colonizer population. And it's in our interests as white people. It's our responsibility, and it's in our interests to be on, as you said, the forward side of history, the leadership of the African working class that's fighting to solve all the problems that this social system has created, whether it's the climate catastrophe or the constant unending war or anything else. It's not going to be solved by this system. It's going to be solved by African working class people under the leadership of their, organized struggle for freedom. So just want to encourage people to go to blackpower96.org, keep Black Power 96 radio on the air. And I just wanted to quickly mention that as Jamie just inferred, I actually used to live in St. Pete. And when I first moved to St. Petersburg in 2008, there was not a Black Power 96. And I remember driving around listening to the radio and just being so disgusted by everything that was on the radio. There was this guy, Bubba the Love Sponge, and just all of this white nationalist garbage and horrible music and just playing the same 3 songs over and over again. And it was just so exciting when Black Power 96 flipped the switch and put its, got its tower set up and started to broadcast into the airwaves. It was an incredible moment, and nothing has ever been the same in St. Petersburg, Florida since Black Power 96 came on the scene. So let's keep this station growing. Let's keep it on the air. This is an international radio station based out of St. Petersburg, Florida, and it's also a project of the African People's Education and Defense Fund, which has a 30-year track record of developing programs and institutions for African economic development and self-determination. So blackpower96.org/donate.
Donate. And Diane from Gainesville, $20. So that puts us $25 over our goal. We're at $525. We want to go more. just really appreciate all of the comrades who took it on and put in the resources today. This is a real stand of reparations. I'm very moved by you and salute you. And let's get some more people from our community. Let's bring them here and have them join the forward side of history, join what the future can be, because there's no future otherwise. Believe me. Look at the news, look at the headlines, look at the crisis that's out there, and it's just deepening every day. And so much so that the statistics are, first of all, 100,000 people, mostly white, died of overdose of drugs last year. And that's because white people can't see a future, don't know that African people are struggling to change the world, don't want to live in the system, can't live as the colonizer. I really believe that white people don't want to be what we, where we find ourselves in the world, sitting on this pedestal of the oppression of African people and everybody else. We don't want to be the enemies of the planet.
Right.
We want to be part of the planet, part of the human society that is solving the problems and bringing about exuberant culture that you see on Black Power 96 that is so beautiful and makes you want to live and live life and know that, that people can be free and liberated. And that's where we want to be. So it's very, very exciting. I salute all of you who have given today. Tell people about this. And I know we're going to have some great announcements coming up as well about the upcoming events of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement.
Uhuru.
Uhuru.
Yeah, I just want to appreciate everyone who's donated. I just wanted to make a quick plug for people to join the Reparations in Action team. You can actually be a part of making this radio show and podcast happen. And it is a really, really fun and exciting process. So if you want to be a part of research, even being on the show, helping produce it, finding clips to play, helping promote it, audio engineering, audio editing, just all of the many different things that go into actually making a reparations podcast, the only one that I know of that exists, you can join us.
The only one.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes. So Uhuru, Jamie.
Yeah, certainly it's the only one that is under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party and the African Revolution.
Yeah.
And Jamie, I just really want to salute you and what a great job you do. I love your voice. I love your spirit and everything that you bring to our podcast. And it just wouldn't be the same without you, comrade. It's really wonderful to have you on board as always.
Couldn't agree more.
Thank you, Chairwoman Penny. Thank you, Chair Jesse. I tell you, there's never a moment in my life when I regret being part of the African liberation movement and the struggle of white people's demanding reparations from ourselves to African people. That's just the absolute best decision I ever made in my life. And I really unite with everything that both of you were summing up about the optimistic vision and culture that comes along with the African working class and the African Revolution. I mean, we heard DJ Eddie Maltzby and director Akile talking about how it's about more than just some cool music and some amazing culture, but it comes along with this really cool music and amazing culture that is such a pleasure to listen to. I mean, Black Power 96 just has some incredible programming. There's never a dull moment like there is in corporate radio. So even if you just are out there and you want to support the existence of independent African culture on the airways, it's controlled by the African working class, that's just another reason to go to blackpower96.org/donate and contribute whatever you can. And we're coming to the close, so I want to thank both of you. I want to thank you, Chairwoman Penny Hess. I want to thank Chairwoman of the African People's Solidarity Committee. It's such an honor to be on here with you. I want to thank you, Jesse Neville. I want to salute Director Akile Anayi of the African People's Socialist Party's Department of Agitation and Propaganda, of Station Manager DJ Eddie Maltzby. And I think in the last couple minutes here before we close out, I wanted to ask you if you have any closing words for us, Chairwoman Penny Hess.
Well, I'm really excited about this program today and also all the ongoing work of Reparations in Action and our mission that we have been given by the work of Chairman Omali Yeshitela, the African People's Socialist Party, to go into the white community as truly as Black power and white face, to not charity, not not something to make me or you feel good, but as genuine solidarity,
Right.
as unity with African internationalism, unity through the eyes of the African working class. And see, this is the future I want to be part of. And I think that millions of other white people do too. So uhuru and unity through reparations.
Uhuru. Uhuru. I just wanted to echo all of that. This has been a great program, and just want to extend another warm invitation to everyone listening to come to the Uhuru Solidarity Movement National Convention next weekend, March 18th through the 20th. uhurusolidarity.org/register is where you can get more information.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair Jesse Neville. Thank you, Chairwoman Penny Hess. And real quickly, in the last 30 seconds we have here, if you do want to be a part of Reparations in Action Radio.
Jamie, I'm so sorry to cut in. I hate to interrupt, but we need to salute Mwezi Odom, who is pledging $10 a month, totaling another $120.
Wow.
Uhuru Mwezi.
And then there's, wow, that's awesome. And then there's new donation, Andrea.
Oh,
okay. Wow.
We'll see what
I don't know what that was.
That's amazing. Keep it coming, everyone. Thank you for your support.
Andrea's from St. Pete. Awesome.
Uhuru, Andrea. If anyone out there wants to be part of Reparations in Action, go to RIA at blackpower96.org. My name is Jamie Simpson with Penny Hess and Jesse Neville. This has been Reparations in Action on Black Power 96. Uhuru.
Uhuru. Thank you, Andrea and Mwezi. Uhuru.